Welcome to this edition of On the Scene. I'm your host, Tim Kelly. On today's program, we're going to spend some time with the staff at the Suffolk Public Library. We're going to highlight the upcoming Engage Suffolk event, a great opportunity to find out about organizations in our community with great volunteer opportunities. And we're also going to talk Halloween. Yes, that's right. It's coming up faster than you know it. We have three great events the Suffolk Public Library will be putting on that are sort of Halloween or horror or mystery or whatever kind of themed. We're going to throw all that together. Stay tuned. Welcome back to On the Scene. We're joined now by Ashley Reed and Megan Mulvey with the Suffolk Public Library to talk about Engage Suffolk. Now, this is not the first time the library has done this event. So before we reflect a little on last year, talk about sort of the concept behind it, what y'all are trying to achieve with Engage Suffolk. What are you trying to bring together here?
We're trying to connect people who want to be more active in their community, who want to get involved in some way with organizations that would benefit from their involvement. Is basically the gist of it.
Okay.
So last year we had a civic fair, and we had a lot of organizations and a really great response from the community in Suffolk. So we're doing it again.
Okay. What type of organizations are we talking about? What type of services do they provide to the community? And maybe what did you have last year that you said we have to have more of that, or maybe we want to branch out a little bit with this year's event to kind of help it grow?
So we've had all kinds of organizations, ones that basically, scope is really broad. We have folks who help with like emergency housing, or we have like the food pantry, things like that. So it can be, that's one way to get involved is by volunteering your time that way. We've also have some sort of civic and political organizations where you can get involved and make your voice heard.
Okay.
So any organizations making an impact in Suffolk that takes volunteers.
Got it. So the goal was really to get people to come out to learn about these organizations and find out how they can give of their time and their resources, more so than people coming out necessarily to utilize these organizations. But I guess you really could do both, right? I mean,
it's also time to learn about what they do, and that's really what the invite is about for these organizations. It's a time for them to find people that are going to provide support in some way, and maybe that's giving your time, maybe it's giving your money on a monthly basis.
Sure.
But it's also an opportunity for them for the organizations to tell their story and have that platform. Also to meet other organizations and network with other service providers. They do have some overlap often, and knowing what else is available in the community is really helpful.
And I think certainly when we talk about organizations around Suffolk, everybody might know this one or that one, but the collective, or the fact there's certain organizations that probably are just starting or maybe are a little smaller and don't get the notoriety that they deserve or they need to kind of help them grow and reach the people they're trying to reach, as well as get people to volunteer. And y'all are providing them this platform to do that. And as you said, if you have organizations that maybe can partner together, they can do a little networking on their own, so they're benefiting as well, right?
Yeah. That was one of the great things that came out of the first Engage, was this sense of this collective idea that we could put together our resources in Suffolk towards a common goal of some sort. So I think the opportunity is there again for us to make that available.
And I guess one of the other things is to get residents to engage with themselves, to come out to the event and sort of do their own networking or just connect with other people around the city of Suffolk. I know it's being held, the event is being held, by the way, at the North Suffolk Library. We didn't mention the date and time. We're going to get to that in a second. But we're talking, it's such a great topic, but we'll get to that. But the point is to get people really bringing people together, no matter whether you're an individual, a group, or organization or whatever, get these folks together and get them together in one room or one facility, one date, one time, and then branch out from there. Any success stories that you heard about sort of from last year where people are like, I didn't know about this or whatever, just sort of the feedback y'all got?
Well, actually, one of the successes I think that came out of it was a deepening of our understanding of our existing partners and building those relationships. So last year, had we even
started the ESL classes and all of our work with the Suffolk Literacy Council?
I don't think so.
So the Literacy Council has become an even more integral part of things that we do at the Suffolk Public Library.
Sure.
And I think having that opportunity to learn about them and just have face time with them. And there were other organizations that have become more regular partners with us as a result of that interaction.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we learned is that a lot of these organizations are looking for skilled volunteers, and I think that's something that Suffolk has a lot of is skilled people, people who have maybe backgrounds in different fields and have the time to lend it, and so we're kind of hoping that we can play matchmaker a little bit. But that's one thing that we have learned from last year is that skilled help, skilled volunteers is in demand.
And we have a wonderful population of retirees and a wide range of ages. People are really active retirees these days. So we know that if we can make it easier, I think it might feel like a leap for some people to say, I would love to put something that I used to do to work for the community. And maybe I could do that for 4 kids. But I don't want to walk into 4 kids and just say, hi,
to do marketing.
Can I help? But maybe we can provide that opportunity, like matchmaking.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the volunteer dating game, so to speak, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think you both touched on it. The fact that we have a lot of people in our community that want to give back and maybe just don't know how or how to route their skills, their talents, their abilities, their energy into an organization or organizations that they can help benefit the community. I think that's the great thing. And I think you mentioned as well that Suffolk Public Library has always done a great job of reaching out to the community and getting involved and making those partnerships and making unique events happen and things happen for the library, which again helps everyone. But the fact that you're kind of, in a sense, giving back to the community by doing this, but at the same time learning about other organizations and making connections for the library to continue to grow with all its resources and services.
Yeah. I think there are definitely a few, at last year's event, I did a few laps and met all the organizations and definitely had a few programs over the year that came out of that. So, building relationships with those groups has been great too.
Now we talk about volunteerism, but there's also a lot of opportunities for folks to volunteer with the Suffolk Public Library.
Yes.
So we want to tap into that as well. So I'm assuming y'all will have a presence other than just the building.
Yes. So we do have a great volunteer program that we're actually working on expanding over the next year. We currently offer a couple of different ways to get involved in volunteering at the library. One is an events or special events volunteer. We do a lot of events at the library, and it can range from story time to, we had our summer food program or lunch program, to a large event like Iconicon.
Right.
Yes, Iconicon. So those events take a lot to put on, and having an extra set of hands to set up a table and chairs, to direct people to the restroom, to get excited about something and really share that interest with the community. So special events, that's something that's always happening. And we find that the teens really like to be a part of those those special events, and we know that the teens need those volunteer
hours. That's right. That's right. You're giving them something they need, but also tapping them into things they're interested in and want to have fun with, and certainly bringing that youthfulness and that energy certainly helps bring the event up a little bit, doesn't it?
Definitely. And we know that shelving is not for everybody. And so when, your mom or dad say, you've got to get some volunteer hours, why don't you go down to the library? That's immediately, I think, what a teen would think of. And we want to provide something that maybe speaks to the social aspect of their development. So that's an option.
Yes.
And then we do have that more traditional type of volunteer opportunity where people would be shelving or helping with special projects like putting new covers on books, taking care of our collection, taking down books, moving them around. Just maintaining all that we have does take some work and a lot of hands. So having those two, we have those opportunities, and we're also always open to more. And we need people ranging from teens to retirees as well. And we really also want people to be part of the programs that they think are great. So, you know, people of all abilities can come to the library and volunteer. And if you are participating in a program like Bingo Boogie and love it, then maybe you want to be a part of actually putting on the program.
Right.
We could do that.
Yeah. So it sounds like you just need the people, and it's just to figuring out what their interests are, and then you could fit them into something to what they want to do, and they're happy, y'all are happy, and everybody wins, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Totally.
Good. Now, I know we have a couple of minutes left, and I wanted to mention about the resource guide, which I know is something that can be found on the Suffolk Public Library website, but talk about what it is and how it kind of connects to Engage Suffolk, the event.
Sure. Well, our community resource guide is a part of our website. So if you hover over the Discover tab, the first thing that'll pop up is the community resource guide.
Okay.
And that's going to lead you to a list of some of the organizations that will also be a part of Engage Suffolk. I know I mentioned 4Kids. There's also some of the listings of places where you can find food pantries, the Salvation Army, and other types of emergency services. So it's a range of things that you might need, and you're not sure where to go to get that in Suffolk.
Yes.
That's what we compiled there in the community resource guide.
Right.
And hopefully people have actually already started to use it. We use it,
Right.
is what I want to
Right.
say. We recently used it to help patrons. The other day I just printed it out for a woman looking for a listing of all the food pantries in Suffolk.
Right. And again, the resources are there. It's just getting people tapped into and connected to them and making them aware of that. And I know the Engage Suffolk will go a long way to doing that, but also the resource guide certainly is sort of a year-round way to do that. And I know that can continue to develop and grow as other resources are added to that to really make it a really useful tool for people in the community. So Engage Suffolk, Saturday, November 2nd at 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. at the North Suffolk Library, an event you definitely want to check out. And I know I didn't ask this question, but I'll ask it now, and I know the answer, but sometimes you have to do the obvious. It is free and open to the public, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I know that's what
That's
Suffolk
kind of our
Public
thing.
that was going to say. I was going to say. I think it kind of comes with what we always talk about here when we're talking about events and things going on with Suffolk Public Library. But always like to ask that question to make sure everybody understands what we're talking about.
Yes.
Very
yes.
good. So again, Saturday, November 2nd is the event. Engage Suffolk, the title. So be sure to take part in that. Thank you very much for your time. We'll have more on the scene when we return. Welcome back to On the Scene. We're still talking Suffolk Public Library, so you don't need to adjust anything you're looking at right now. And we got two folks in costume carrots, so we're going to talk about them. So Ashley, you're back with us.
Yeah.
You look a little different than you did before, not dramatically. So tell us who you are, so just so the people at home know.
Velma from
Okay.
Scooby-Doo.
Got it. Just making sure.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, no. I wear the glasses all the time, so they're here no matter what.
Got
But
it.
Velma, because we're having a Scooby-Doo themed escape room on
Got
the
it.
Library to Go.
Perfect.
Mystery Machine, Library to Go.
All connected. And Matt Thompson joins us as well.
How do you
so
do?
Matt, doing well. So again, you are, other than a skeleton.
I'm a skeleton.
Okay. Captain Obvious here, but you know, that's how that rolls. So we're here. We brought both of you here today to talk about sort of some Halloween-themed events that Suffolk Public Library has coming up.
That's right.
And you have a haunted house that'll be held at the Chuckatuck Library. So let's talk about that event, when it's going to take place, and what is all part of it. Because I know we bring in the escape room as well, which has a theme. We'll get to that. But Matt, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot happening at the Chuckatuck Library October 26th.
Okay.
It starts at 5 p.m. And from 5 to 6:30, we're inviting families, even with the little ones, to come for a great holiday experience. There will be the escape room running out of the library to go,
All right.
a craft project,
Okay.
fortune tellers, and some friendly scares in the haunted house.
Okay. All right.
There will be a change, though.
Got
At
it.
6:30, the sun will set.
Right.
The lights will go off in the library.
Got it.
And we're going to turn up the scares a little bit. You can still bring your kids,
Right.
but you've been warned.
friendly warning to that. So you can ramp it up a little bit.
That's right.
When does everything kind of wrap up that night?
It'll be over by 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Okay.
And there will be an additional event. Once the sun sets,
Okay.
we'll start a campfire, and there will be ghost stories around the campfire plus s'mores.
Very good. Very good. Now, this isn't y'all's first time at the rodeo with this type of event, is it?
No, I'm a big Halloween nut. And
What gave that away? I don't know.
And last year we were looking for programs to do
Yeah.
at the Chuckatuck Library. I suggested a haunted house, and we got to run with it. It was
Right.
our first year doing it, and we got a great response from the community. More than 100 people came out.
Nice.
And we want to do it again, bigger and better this year.
Very good. So we've got a lot to look forward to. Now, last year, did you have sort of the before and after version, so to speak?
Yes, we did.
You did? Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, we kept it family friendly last year as well. The new additions this year are going to be the escape room
Right.
and the ghost stories.
Got it. Got it. So we talked a little bit about the ghost stories, but let's move on to the escape room for just a second. Tell us about well, you've already told us what the theme is, Scooby-Doo theme, but how is this all put together, and what resources are you using to make it happen?
My brain. Yes, we have a real big problem on the library to go. We have some sort of monster dog ear in
Okay.
all our books.
Got it.
We need the public's help
Okay.
to figure out
Got it.
who's responsible for this.
Real world
so-
problems here, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can't have all the books on the
Yeah.
Mystery Machine library to go
Indeed.
in bad shape.
Indeed.
So it's a Scooby-Doo mystery. It's family friendly.
Okay.
It won't be too scary.
All right.
It's designed for everybody in the family to be able to kind of help.
Okay.
It is on the library to go, which is a small space.
Right.
So we kind of limit it to 4 or 5 people at a time. But it's pretty quick. It's, 15, 20 minutes or so
Okay.
that you have to solve the mystery
Okay.
using your best detective skills,
Got it.
following the clues,
Very nice.
and help us figure out who's behind all this dog-eared books.
Now, for someone who hasn't participated in, gone to an escape room before, explain the concept in case we
Oh,
didn't
okay.
kind of already cover that. But I mean, I understand the theme, but I mean, break it down for somebody who's like, okay, wait, am I really trapped, or what's the deal? You know?
Okay, you're not really trapped. Nobody call my boss. So an escape room, you basically are locked, or maybe really locked, in a room, and you have to solve puzzles and follow
right.
clues to figure out how to get out.
Got it.
In this case, you're not locked in, but you're trying to solve a mystery. So you'll have to examine your physical environment and talk to your teammates and look for clues, some things that stand out, and hopefully have a lot of fun and maybe make a few wrong turns along the way to figure out.
But it's a group effort thing. I mean, really, it's teamwork, right? I mean, everyone's working, right? Yeah.
I mean, you could come and do it by yourself, but it wouldn't be that much fun.
No.
It's all about, bouncing ideas off your friends or family or whatever.
Got it. Got it.
Trying to solve a mystery together.
And this will all be, of course, in the vehicle outside. So I
Yes.
mean, we're
It'll
not
be
parking
on
this
the
inside.
bookmobile.
On the
Yeah.
bookmobile. So
Yeah.
we'll have that outside. So, and again, the bonfire, where's that going to be held as far as in relation to the facility?
Not on the bookmobile.
There's a grassy lawn behind the Chuckatuck Library.
All right. So everything's in really close proximity to everything, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
Good deal.
It's all the
Good deal.
same.
Now, putting together a haunted house in the library, how does that conceptually come about? You got your space, and obviously you know how to use it. But I'm sure you learned some lessons from last year to kind of ramp it up a little bit, even for the tamer side of things.
Yes,
But,
that's right. Well, I am so passionate about Halloween that sometimes my eyes get bigger than my stomach, so to speak,
Right.
and I can sometimes bite off more than I can chew.
Okay.
So it's very important from a planning point of view to think about the order in which you do things, how things can get packed and unpacked. And one thing that I have learned, because my house is also quite decked out,
Okay.
is the electrical things go in first. First you turn everything on that needs to get turned on, then the spider webs go up,
Got it.
then the ghosts.
Got it. So definitely a progression in there to make sure everything kind of fits together and works.
There's
together,
a method to the
Yeah,
madness.
yeah, there you go. There you go. Now, based on last year, and say people that went last year, how how much better, bolder, bigger is it going to be this year?
This year, the haunted house is going to be more narrative driven.
Okay.
So kids will have the opportunity to create a charm, an amulet that will protect them from the monsters inside the haunted house.
Okay.
When they pass through the gauntlet of monsters, they will earn a gold coin, which they can take and give to the fortune teller to have their fortune told.
Got it.
So as they progress from station to station, they'll get to interact with all aspects of the haunted house.
Very nice. Now, how much of the library space are you utilizing? All of it?
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So got a lot to expect right there. Now, the scarier version, shall we say? Scale 1 to 10, 10 being beyond anybody's imagination. I mean, again, maybe you're going 15. I don't know.
I'll
but,
give you
know.
a 5.5.
Okay. Just to see, but again, like you said, you have fair warning. You're telling everybody up front. We're talking about it here. I'm sure at the event as well, you'll kind of let people know. So if maybe some younger kids that maybe aren't probably as adept for dealing with the scariness that you're going to unveil, that they'll be prepared for the fact that their parents or guardians will be prepared for what's to come, right?
Yeah, it's not about traumatizing people.
Of course,
it's about having a really memorable holiday experience.
Very good. And again, that's coming up on Saturday, October 26th at the Chuckatuck Library.
Right.
Very good. Now, there's two other events I know Suffolk Public Library will be focusing on again with the Halloween season right upon us. We have the Library Trick or Treat, which is Wednesday, October 30th. Now, that is at both Morgan and North Suffolk. So let's talk a little bit about what's going to go on with that particular event.
It's adorable.
We're
It's the best day to come to work.
Got it.
We're inviting kids to wear their costumes.
Sweet.
You can also wear your costume to the haunted house.
Okay.
At story time, kids come in their costumes
Right.
and they walk around to the different stations in the library and trick or treat and get candy, and it's a lot of fun to see the creativity and the
Right.
fun that kids are having with
Got
it. So, yeah, it's a great day at work for us.
Yeah, I don't mind it either, right?
Yeah, no.
It's a bonus day to dress up, right?
Yeah, it's a day to
Got
dress
it.
up and have
Cool.
fun, and they can, we set up different stations for them
Right.
to visit and that sort of thing. So.
Okay, very good. And then we also have Pub Trivia Night, which is the Supernatural edition on Friday, October 25th, and that's going to be at Nansman Brewing Station. So I know y'all been doing the pub trivia for a while now and throwing different themes. So Supernatural, what are we talking about in that type of genre?
Oh, myths and monsters and
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a pretty wide stretching there. It's not just really pigeonholing anybody into one particular thing with that.
Horror movies.
Yeah.
Scary stuff.
Right, exactly. But if you haven't been to a pub trivia night before, how do y'all organize that? And I know y'all work with some of our great local merchants as well to make this all happen.
So usually, folks will come and they'll come with a team, but sometimes not. Sometimes people will meet a team
Right.
there. And we play a few rounds with music in between each round. It's a lot of fun. You get to find out how smart your family is or your
Got it.
friends, or really put them to the test.
There'll be some cheeky prizes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's usually a costume contest.
Nice.
So yeah, music and costumes
Okay.
and trivia questions, and I hear you can also buy beer at the Nansman Brewing
Okay.
Station.
All right.
So
Well, it kind of
that
comes
too.
with the title, but yeah. Okay.
So it's a pretty good time.
Very good. Very good. Now, that might be more geared toward an older crowd, right? We're not talking about
I have seen people bring their children to these events before, but it's mostly geared towards young adults, and
Gotcha.
you see couples
Got it.
come.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, this is just some of the ways some public libraries reaching out to the community, doing great events. Always try to tie it in with themes or connecting things with events and things that are going on with the library. So again, great opportunity here for everyone to take part, have a little extra fun this Halloween season. So again, let's go back real quick. The Haunting at Chuckatuck. Again, the date, time, location for that.
October 26th, Chuckatuck Library, 5 p.m., family friendly, 6:30, a little bit scarier.
Okay, very good. And then, of course, we have the Library Trick or Treat, as we said, Wednesday, October 30th, and that will be at both Morgan and at North Suffolk. And again, that's 10:45 to 11:15 in the morning. So bright and early. Get an early start to any trick-or-treating activities taking place into the weekend with that. Gives the staff an extra excuse to dress up and have a little extra fun on the job that day. And then Pub Trivia Night, again, is Friday, October 25th from 6 until 7:30 at the Nansman Brewing Station. So any last sales pitch from the two of you to get people to participate in one or all three of these events? Matt, we'll kick it off.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Now, will there be singing the night of the haunted house? And
Only screaming.
Only screaming. Okay. So Maybe not quite as musical, but if you want to put it to music, you could do so, right?
I did make a soundtrack this year, so there will be a playlist going.
Bonus. Okay. And Ashley, jump in.
I mean, we need help solving this mystery.
That's right. That's right. Now, will you and the Scooby-Doo gang be showing up at pub trivia, or do y'all work as a team for that, or you have to kind of split up because, you know?
So Scooby-Doo won't be at pub trivia.
Got it.
It's a little bit of a different crowd.
Okay. Okay. No dogs allowed, right?
No dogs allowed.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Well, again, a lot of fun to look forward to coming up. Again, courtesy Suffolk Public Library. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thanks for having
Thanks.
us.
Awesome. That'll do it for this edition of On the Scene. I'm your host, Tim Kelly. We'll see you next time.